remember, in the last session, we discussed the role of the electoral management bodies or election commissions in the transition of in democratic transition, and we discussed several aspects of it. Today, we will talk about first the membership and staffing of the electoral management bodies, EMBs. So, the makeup of the EMB is very important for its independence. This includes both commissioners and civil service staff. How commissioners are chosen or removed affects independence of the electoral management bodies. The way staff are hired, promoted, or dismissed also matters. At the commissioner level, leadership is key. Good leadership builds trust in the electoral management body's fairness and independence. Commissioners should bring different skills. These skills may include civil society work, government experience, media knowledge, and legal or operational expertise. In many transitional situations, there is a lack of trust. Now, trust is very basic in a democratic society, in a democratic polity, even in other aspects of life. For example, in business, if you are doing a business and your customers trust you, your business will flourish. But if you are doing a business but your customers don't trust you, your business will not go ahead. It will not, yes, you will not succeed as a business person. So similarly, trust is among the family members is a basic requirement for a happy family, for a good family life. Trust among the students and teachers is also required. Okay, so trust in every aspect of life is a basic fact of life, basic necessity for a healthy combination, for a healthy life. So similarly, in political systems, in polities, and among the electoral management bodies and among the citizens, there has to be a certain level of trust. But in many transitional situations, there is a lack of trust. This can harm the reputation of new institutions even before they start working. Broad and open discussions on who will join an EMB can build trust. So, when election commissions are being formed, established, or when people are being appointed, so there should be a broad discussion on it. Who should be its members, who should be its directors, commissioners, etc. So it will help build trust among the citizens regarding the electoral management body. If people see the selection of EMB members as fair and open, the institution will gain more credibility. In transitional societies, many public servants are not trusted as election officials. In transitional societies, where democracy has not yet consolidated, but it is in the process. Democracy is in transition. So many public servants are not trusted as election officials. This is because people link them with old authoritarian rule or faulty past elections. A balance is needed between professional skills and the moral reputation of EMB members. A famous example is South Africa's Transitional Electoral Management Body. The government added international members from Canada, Zimbabwe, and Eritrea to build trust. So, foreigners were taken as members of the Election Commission. Sometimes bureaucrats from the old regime are the only ones with the needed skills to run elections. Elections need complex planning and management. In Chile and Indonesia, trusted leaders came from past regimes. Those regimes which were discarded, which were hated, which were rejected. But in order to run the electoral election commissions, officials from those regimes had to be taken because they were experienced. Personal character can be stronger than past links and help keep important skills in the EMB. In Indonesia, people who helped write new election laws were also good choices for the electoral management body. They understood both the words and the spirit of the laws. When forming an EMB, a choice must be made about its members. Should it have political party nominees, non-partisan experts, or both? Okay, so there are different schemes. Should it is possible, for example, that major parties they send their representatives and they form the election commission. But on the other hand, it is possible that only bureaucrats, technical people are appointed as commissioners or as the election commissioner. Or there can be a healthy combination, some politicians and some bureaucrats. Multi-party electoral management bodies include members from different political parties. The law may allow all contesting parties to have a seat or set a limit. Party-based members act as party representatives. They may look partisan, but they also check each other's actions. When different parties send their representatives as the election commissioners, those commissioners will represent their own party and they will first promote the interest of their own party. But they will be checked on that particular individual from other politicians. For example, you just imagine in Election Commission of Pakistan, there is one commissioner from PTI, one another commissioner from PPP, another PMLN, okay, and other parties. So if election commissioner who represents PTI, he will be checked by other parties, PPP and PMLN. Similarly, the election commissioner who is coming from PPP, there will be check on him or her by the representatives of other parties. So similarly, all of them will have a check upon others. So the sum of partialities thus becomes a guarantee of impartiality. क्योंकि सब एक दूसरे को चेक रखेंगे तो उन्हें इम्पार्शियल होकर चलना पड़ेगा. ये पब्लिक अकाउंट्स कमेटी में पता है आपको, अपोजिशन का बंदा होता है आमतौर पे जो चेयरमैन होता है लगाते हैं नेशनल असेंबली में, ठीक है, और उसमें हुकूमत के बंदे भी होते हैं, तो वो अच्छी खासी अकाउंटेबिलिटी करते हैं. Expert based EMBs include people chosen for their honesty and skills. They may be suggested by parties or civil society but cannot act as partisans. Rules for joining may include not being a recent party leader, a minimum age, and proper qualifications. Members are often respected figures known for neutrality and expertise in law, in administration, politics, or media. This is the case when politicians are not appointed, non politicians are appointed. Many countries moving from authoritarian rule to multi party democracy chose multi party based EMBs. So it has been exercised in many countries that politicians were appointed in the election commissions. This happened in Central Europe and in Eastern Europe. Many experts say party representation in an EMB builds consensus. It also makes the process more transparent. So, Yes, it is its advantage. If the commissioners are appointed by parties and they represent their parties, so then there will be no complaint. When the decision will be made, so all the parties will have to own it because it is made by their own representatives. But when the officials in the election commission, they are not the politicians, so almost at every step they are criticized. Political parties blame them, they are biased against them. And almost all major parties do so. All major parties say this decision is made to favor our opponents. If this decision is made to disfavor us. So this is the problem with the election commissions where technical staff or the bureaucrats are appointed. This creates more confidence in election. Okay. It also makes the process more transparent. Many experts say party representation. Yes, many experts say 203, slide 203. Many experts say party representation in an EMB builds consensus. It also makes the process more transparent. This creates more confidence in elections. In Latin America, multi party electoral management bodies have run successful elections. They also gain public trust and confidence. Building trust is very important in the early stages of democracy. You know, when elections are held, polls are held, at the polling booth, all parties they have their own agents, their representatives. When the polls are polling is underway, so every candidate has his own representative, and under their watch, polling is done, and people cast their vote. And when the polling stops, all those polling agents they are present at the counting point where polls votes are counted, and they can raise any objection if anything wrong is being done. Fine. So mostly because their agents are present, so it decreases the chances that any candidate will be doubtful upon the counting, on the counting or on the polling because his agent was present. So similarly, if in the election commission parties have their representatives, their commissioners, so the election commission will become more trustworthy. It will be more trusted. Diversity, especially ethnicity, matters in organizing multi-party elections. In some countries, people expect the EMB to reflect this balance. So, diversity. All provinces should be represented. Okay. All major segments of society should be represented. Women should be represented. Men should be represented. Okay. Business community may also be represented. Agriculture community. Okay. This way, there should be a healthy balance. It sends a good message if members and senior staff show ethnic balance, regional balance, and language balance. It shows that management is inclusive. This helps all groups trust and support the EMB. You know, in the National Assembly Secretariat and in the Senate Secretariat, people from all provinces are hired. There are Balochis, there are Sindhis, there are Pakhtuns, there are Punjabis. So it lends some credibility and some trust to those. And it is this quota is there for all federal ministries and departments. There is quota for all provinces. All provinces have to be represented in all federal institutions. So it is one way of bringing harmony and trust, building trust among various federating units. So similarly, when election commissions are established or formed, these things should be kept in mind. It must be considered. This helps all groups trust and support the EMB. It also strengthens the EMB's image of fairness. In the end, it makes election results more widely accepted. Gender balance is also very important. It increases the EMB's credibility. So women will also trust that they are also represented. It helps the EMB use all available talent for its staff and members. Women should be represented at all levels in both permanent and temporary staff. The EMB should set an example by showing gender balance in its work. Gender balance should be ensured in workshops and seminars as well, not only in the staff. When there are workshops and trainings, there should also be a gender balance. Gender issues should also be included in training programs, in voter education programs, and in information programs. Gender balance helps all eligible voters take part in elections. In Yemen's 2012 elections, special centers and polling stations for women were created in Yemen. These were staffed by female officials to make voting easier for women. The law usually decides how many members an EMB commission has. This number is different in different countries. It does not always depend on the size of the country. What should be the total number of staff in the election commission? So it can be different in different countries. A bigger electoral management body can give wider representation. A smaller EMB can make discussion and decisions easier. EMBs with political party nominees usually have more members. So when politicians are appointed, so because usually there are so many parties, so obviously there will be more staff and more members. It will be a bigger committee, bigger commission. Expert-based EMBs usually have few members. If there are bureaucrats, so yes, a few bureaucrats can make it work. In Indonesia's 1999 elections, the EMB had to balance representation with smooth decision making. In traditional elections, building confidence is very important. Mexico shows a good example. Party representatives are included in the EMB as non-voting members. Non-voting members. So their role is secondary. But because they are present, it lends credibility to the decision making and to the procedure of the electoral management body. EMB members should have high status, but they should not act like they are bigger than the electoral management body. Institutions led by personalities can cause division. A good practice model for EMB members to follow is to personalize the institution they serve rather than institutionalize the leaders of the EMB. ठीक है ना? यानी चीज़ों को पर्सनलाइज करेंगे तो बर्बादी है, खराबी है. चीज़ों को इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करें, इंस्टीट्यूशन बड़ा लगे और उसमें जो काम करने वाले हैं वो उससे उनका कद छोटा नजर आए, तो फिर तो वो ठीक है, फिर वो आवाम के लिए बेहतर है. लेकिन अगर एक उसमें एक ऐसा लीडर बैठा है, एक ऐसे इलेक्शन कमिश्नर आ गया है, उसके आगे बाकी सारा इलेक्शन कमीशन वो कुछ कोई अहमियत ही नहीं है उसकी, तो वो फिर इलेक्शन कमिश्नर जो है, इलेक्शन कमीशन है ना, उसके ऊपर फिर इतमाद नहीं रहेगा, फिर वो डिसीजन मेकिंग ठीक नहीं होगी, प्रोसीजर्स ठीक नहीं होगा, मसला होगा. तो ये वो कह रहे हैं. और सर में डेमोक्रेसी का जो है ना, पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट का भी एक उसने लिखा है ना, हंटिंगटन ने लिखा है कि पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट के जो और मॉडर्नाइजेशन के जो 3-4 बेसिक है ना कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, उसमें एक इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइजेशन है. इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइजेशन, जब पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट नहीं होती तो उसमें पर्सनलाइजेशन होती है, पर्सनैलिटीज़ के गिर्द चल रहा होता है सिस्टम. अवाम भी पर्सनैलिटीज़ की बात कर रहे होते हैं, पर्सनैलिटीज़ की वर्शिप कर रहे होते हैं, पर्सनैलिटी को पूछते हैं, उन्हीं की बात करते हैं, और अब ये नहीं देखते कि ये पर्सनैलिटी قانون کے مطابق چل رہی ہے, آئین کے مطابق چل رہی ہے, نہیں, اس سے فرق نہیں پڑتا. پرسنالٹی میٹرس. تو یہ جو ڈیولپنگ کنٹریز ہیں نا, ان کا یہ المیہ ہے کہ وہ انسٹیٹیوشنس کو امپورٹنٹ نہیں کہتے. کانسٹیٹیوشن بھی ایک انسٹیٹیوشن ہے, لا بھی ایک انسٹیٹیوشن ہے, ٹھیک ہے, رول آف لا بھی ایک انسٹیٹیوشن ہے, ٹھیک ہے, تو پارلیمنٹ بھی ایک انسٹیٹیوشن ہے, اسمبلیز, پولیٹیکل پارٹیز, یہ انسٹیٹیوشن ہیں سارے. تو یہ جو ڈیولپنگ اور ٹرانزیشننگ ڈیموکریسیز کا ہے نا, یہ پرابلم ہے کہ جو کامن سٹیزنس ہیں, پاپولس ہے, it does not properly understand the importance of institutions. They prefer personalities and individuals over institutions. یعنی وہ ایسے بھی ہوتا ہے کہ وہ دیکھ رہے ہوتے ہیں, نظر آ رہا ہوتا ہے سامنے کہ یہ بندہ انسٹیٹیوشنس کو کمزور کر رہا ہے, لیکن پھر بھی عوام اسی کو پوچھتے رہتے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے نا. اگلے دن میں بات کر رہا تھا نا کہ سم ٹائمز جو ہے نا الیکشنز کے ذریعے, ڈیموکریسی کے ذریعے بھی ڈکٹیٹرز آ جاتے ہیں. دنیا میں جو آج سے سب سے بڑی جمہوریت گزری ہے, وہ پتہ کون سی تھی؟ رومن امپائر. بہت بڑی امپائر تھی. اتنی لمبی جمہوریت اس جدید دور میں آج تک کسی ملک میں بھی تک بھی نہیں ہوئی. 400-500 سال وہ جمہوریت رہی. عیسیٰ علیہ السلام سے پہلے کی بات ہے, ٹھیک ہے, عیسیٰ علیہ السلام سے پہلے بڑی تکڑی جمہوریت تھی. اور جس ملک کو فتح کرتے تھے اس کے سارے شہریوں کو شہریت دے دیتے تھے. ان کا سٹیٹس وہی ہوتا تھا جو عام باقی رومیوں کا ہوتا تھا. تو لوگ اس پہ خوش بھی ہوتے تھے. جن کو فتح کر لیتے تھے ان کو بڑا گفٹ تھا, وہ نیشنل بن جاتے. روم کی نیشنلٹی مل جاتی تھی, شہریت مل جاتی تھی, پرس پریویلیجز, سارے رائٹس مل جاتے تھے. تو اس سے بھی اس کی طاقت بڑھی. تو وہ سینکڑوں سال تک چلتی رہی, اور دنیا میں اس سے بڑی, پوری دنیا میں وہ سپر پاور تھی روم. اس سے بڑی کوئی طاقت نہیں تھی. تو الیکشن ہوتے تھے, الیکشن نہیں ہوتے تھے, وہ اس وقت ریپرزنٹیشن نہیں تھی. الیکشن ڈائریکٹ الیکشن ہوتے تھے, ڈائریکٹ الیکشنز. یعنی جو شہری ہیں وہ خود روم میں اکٹھے ہوتے تھے اور چنتے تھے اپنے حکمران. آج کل کے ہم جو شہری ہیں, کیا ہم حکمران خود چنتے ہیں؟ کون چنتا ہے ہمارے حکمران؟ ہمارے نمائندے. ہم اپنے وزیر اعلیٰ کا انتخاب خود نہیں کرتے, وزیر اعظم کا انتخاب خود نہیں کرتے, صدر کا انتخاب ہم خود نہیں کرتے, ہمارے ایم پی اور ایم ایل اے کرتے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے. اسی طرح جو یونین کونسل کا ناظم ہوتا ہے اس کو بھی ہم ڈائریکٹ ووٹ نہیں ڈالتے. عام طور پہ ہمارے جو یونین کونسلس کے چیئرمین ہوتے ہیں یا نمائندے ہوتے ہیں نا, وہ ووٹ ڈالتے ہیں, پھر وہ ڈسٹرکٹ ناظم منتخب ہوتا ہے. تو یہ ریپرزینٹیو سسٹم ہے, وہ ڈائریکٹ ڈیموکریسی تھی. تو الیکشن وہ ہوتے تھے, الیکشن ہوتے تھے, لیکن شہری ڈائریکٹلی الیکٹ کرتے تھے, اپوائنٹ کرتے تھے اپنے. اچھا, تو وہ جمہوری طریقے سے آ گیا کیسر روم, جولیس سیزر, اور وہ ڈکٹیٹر بن گیا. He killed democracy in Rome, and it was one of the basic major factors that Rome ended as a democracy, and it led to its downfall. ٹھیک ہے. Similarly, in the modern history, in Germany, Hitler, I heard he came through elections, but after coming into power, he killed democracy, and he became a dictator, and he led to the destruction and defeat of Germany. You know, even today, American forces are there in Germany, occupying forces. ابھی تک جرمنی میں قبضہ ہے امریکہ کا, پتہ ہے آپ کو؟ نہیں پتا؟ یہ آ کے سرچ کرنا. آج جاپان پہ ابھی تک امریکہ کا قبضہ ہے. امریکی فوجی وہاں بیٹھے ہیں, فوجی بیٹھی ہیں, جاپان کہتا ہے جاؤ, کر نہیں جاتے. ابھی تک جرمنی اور جاپان وہ نہیں بنا سکتے, ایٹم بم نہیں بنا سکتے, نیوکلیئر ویپنز نہیں بنا سکتے, اجازت نہیں ہے. دے آر ناٹ سوورن کنٹریز ان دا ریئل سینس. وہ ڈکٹیٹرز نے جنہوں نے جمہوریت کا قتل کیا, they are responsible for their trouble. So ڈیموکریسی کو اگر ہم نے کیری آن کرنا ہوتا ہے, اس کو سسٹین کرنا ہوتا ہے, شہریوں کو اس بات کی سمجھ ہونی چاہیے, وہ کانسٹیچوئنٹس کو, کہ ہمارے لیڈر نظام کو کس طرف لے کے جا رہے ہیں. کہیں یہ ڈیموکریسی کو ختم تو نہیں کرنے جا رہے, کہیں یہ خود ہی تو ڈکٹیٹر نہیں بن کے بیٹھنے والے. تو یہ چیز بھی پولیٹیکل سائنٹسٹ جو ہیں، پولیٹیکل سائنس کے جو اسکالرز ہیں، اسٹوڈنٹس ہیں، ٹیچرز ہیں، ان کے سمجھنے کی ہے، اور ان کی ذمہ داری ہے کہ وہ باقی قوم کو سمجھائیں، پارٹی والوں کو بھی سمجھائیں. ٹھیک ہے کہ دیکھیں جمہوریت تو تب چلتی ہے رول آف لا ہو، کانسٹیٹیوشن کے مطابق چیزیں ہوں، آئین کے مطابق ہوں نا. آئین کے بغیر تو، قانون کے بغیر چلے گا تو جنگل ہے، ڈکٹیٹرشپ ہو جائے گی. تو اگر کھلا لیڈرز جو ہے وہ آئین کو وائلیٹ کر رہے ہوں اور پھر بھی سارے لوگ اسی کو سپورٹ کر رہے ہوں، تو اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ جمہوری زیادہ دیر نہیں چلے گی. پھر آپ کسی اور کو بلیم نہ کریں، پھر دوسروں کو بلیم نہ کریں، پھر ان کو بلیم کریں، اپنے آپ کو بلیم کریں. سو they should focus on the electoral management body, not on themselves as leaders. If electoral management body leaders are elected by their members, it shows change. It is 244, slide 244. It can also increase confidence in the EMB's independence. In Indonesia, the transitional EMB did this for the first time, KPU. KPU was the electoral management body in Indonesia during transition. Members elected their chairman and vice chairman themselves. This was different from before, when these positions were appointed by decree, by order of the authorities. Staggered terms for EMB members help keep institutional experience. Staggered terms kya hoti hain? A system in which officials are elected to office for overlapping terms, ensuring that not all positions are up for election at the same time. سمجھ آئیے اس کی کیا سمجھائیں؟ اسٹیگرڈ ٹرمز کیا ہوتی ہے؟
official are elected to office for overlapping terms.
ہاں
مطلب کہ ایک ہی ٹرم کو بار بار وہ جو ہے وہ دوبارہ آفیشیل جو ہے وہ سلیکٹ ہو رہی ہے، مطلب ایک سے زیادہ ٹرم میں بار بار.
اوور لیپنگ نہیں، اوور لیپنگ یہ نہیں ہے. سینٹ کا سسٹم کسی نے پڑھا ہے پاکستان میں؟ جو سینٹ ہے ہماری، کتنا ٹینیور ہوتا ہے ہمارے سینیٹرز کا؟ 6 ایئرس. جب 6 ایئرز کے لیے وہ ہوتا ہے نا، تو ہر 3 سال بعد الیکشن ہوتا ہے. آدھے سینٹ کے ممبر جو ہے نا ایک دفعہ الیکٹ ہوتے ہیں، پھر اگلے 3 سال بعد آدھے پھر ہوتے ہیں. قومی اسمبلی کی طرح نہیں ہوتا کہ سارے سینیٹرز ریٹائر ہو گئے اور سارے سینیٹرز اب نئے آ رہے ہیں، ایسے نہیں ہوتا. کیوں؟ وہ جب سارے ریٹائر اکٹھے جاتے ہیں اور اگر سارے اگر نئے آ گئے تو وہ تو کام ہی نہیں چلے گا، وہ سارے بغیر تجربہ کا. تو آدھے رہ جاتے ہیں، وہ جو آدھے نئے آتے ہیں وہ ان کو ٹریننگ دیتے ہیں، سیکھنے کا موقع ملتا ہے نا. وہ تجربہ کار ہوتے ہیں، 3 سال تو تجربہ ہو گیا ہوتا ہے. تو اس سے کیا ہوتا ہے کہ وہ نظام بڑا اسموتھلی چلتا ہے. ٹھیک ہے، اوور لیپنگ ٹرم ہوگی نا، یعنی ان کے 3 سال ادھر آ گئے، ان کے 3 سال ادھر آ گئے، تو اوور لیپنگ ہو گئی. ٹھیک ہے، اس طرح وہ چلتا رہتا ہے. تو اس کو کہتے ہیں اسٹیگرڈ ٹرمس. If terms are not staggered, new members should join early enough to learn their duties. EMB members need job security and protection from harassment. Harassment can include salary cuts or unfair legal actions. Security allows members to work fairly, professionally, and without fear. Members may hesitate to make decisions against the government if they can be removed or punished easily. In many countries, electoral management body members have the same protection as senior judges. They can only be removed for reasons like misconduct or serious illness. Otherwise, they cannot be removed. Rules for consultation and decision making are very important for EMBs. یعنی ہوتا یہ ہے نا کہ اگر وہ کمزور پوزیشن میں ہیں، ان کو حکومت آسانی سے چینج کر سکتی ہے، تو چانسز یہ ہیں کہ وہ ان کو اپنی مرضی کے مطابق چلانے کی کوشش کرے گی، فیور لینے کی کوشش کرے گی، یا ان سے کہے گی کہ آپ وہ ریگنگ کرو ہمارے حق فیور میں. تو اگر ان کی پوزیشن کمزور ہے تو وہ ہو سکتا ہے مجبور ہو کے ریگنگ کر دیں، یا وہ اگر نہیں کرتے تو ان کو چھٹی کرا دیں. اس لیے ضروری ہے کہ ان کی پوزیشن اسٹرانگ ہو، ان کی جاب سیکورٹی ہو، ان کا جو ٹینیور ہے उनको पता कि ये टेंडर हमें मिल गया है, अब हुकूमत हमें छेड़ नहीं सकती, तो ताकि वो आज़ादी से काम करें, गैर जानबदार होकर, हुकूमत से डर के ना काम करें, ये करें. Rules for consultation and decision making are very important for EMBs. This includes quorums and voting procedures. Transparency in these rules is also important. A transitioning EMB should make these rules clear and written down. The EMB's work should encourage transparency, accountability, and integrity inside the organization. EMBs often have rules about the behavior of members and staff. अच्छा, अब ये दो चीज़ों की बात हो रही है. एक तो उसके जो प्रोसीजर्स हैं, इलेक्शन कमीशन जब उसकी मीटिंग्स होती हैं, उसके डिसीजंस होते हैं, उसमें ज़ाहिर है एक से ज़्यादा लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. अब वो एक से ज़्यादा जो लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, उनमें से कुछ गैर जानबदार होंगे, कुछ एक पार्टी की तरफ उनका टिल्ट होगा, कुछ का दूसरी पार्टी की तरफ टिल्ट होगा. ठीक है. अब उसमें मसलन अगर कोरम की शर्त नहीं है और वो उनमें से 18 में से 2 बंदे बैठते हैं और कहते हैं जी मीटिंग हो गई, हमने ये डिसीजन कर दिया है, 16 थे ही नहीं, तो वो जो डिसीजन होंगे उसमें गालिब इम्कान ये है कि वो किसी एक पार्टी के फेवर में चले जाएंगे, किसी एक पार्टी को टारगेट कर लेंगे. इसलिए उसको कोरम का होना ज़रूरी है. 18 में से 15 हों या 12 हों या 10 हों कम अज़ कम, ताकि कोई एक अपनी मर्जी से ना हाँकता रहे. ठीक है. इस तरह प्रोसीजर्स तय हों कि अगर मीटिंग डिसाइड हुई है तो उसकी इन्फॉर्मेशन सारे मेंबर्स तक पहुंचे. ये ना वो 18 में से आज उनको पता ही नहीं था कि मीटिंग होनी है और मीटिंग हो गई, उनको बाद में पता चला कि मीटिंग थी, तो ये गलत है ना. इसलिए ये प्रोसीजर्स जो हैं वो इतने स्ट्रांग हों, इतने अच्छे हों प्रोटोकॉल्स, कि उसमें कम से कम गुंजाइश रह जाए किसी को गड़बड़ करने की. ठीक है. एक तो ये प्रोसीजर्स. दूसरा होता है कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. These rules are usually called codes of conduct. To sign the code is a good practice for all members, staff, and contractors. Signing shows they accept the rules and they will follow the rules. An independent tribunal can handle complaints about breaking the code. This has been done in Nigeria, in Tanzania, and in Zambia. Public EMB meetings can help build trust. अच्छा, ये मीटिंग से पहले बात हो रही थी कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट की. कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट ये होता है कि जो स्टाफ है, जो कमिश्नर्स हैं, उनके लिए एक ज़ाब्ता अखलाक या ज़ाब्ता कार, उसमें लिखा हो कि ये चीज़ें अलाउ हैं और ये चीज़ें अलाउ नहीं हैं, आप ये कर सकते हैं और ये नहीं कर सकते, बिल्कुल क्लियर हो. जो इसके खिलाफ जाएगा उसके ऊपर एक्शन होगा, पनिशमेंट होगा. ठीक है. तो उस पर उनसे दस्तखत करवाएं. दस्तखत करवाने का मतलब है कि वो सारे उसको पढ़ लें और समझ लें कि इसके मुताबिक चलना है. तो इसका भी एक असर होता है. उनको पता होता है कि ये चीज़ लीगल है, ये इलीगल है, ये मॉरल है, ये इमॉरल है. तो उससे भी एक जो है अच्छा माहौल पैदा करने में मदद मिलती है कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट से. आगे बात हो रही है मीटिंग्स की. पब्लिक इलेक्टोरल मैनेजमेंट बॉडी मीटिंग्स कैन हेल्प बिल्ड ट्रस्ट. अब मुख्तलिफ स्टेक होल्डर से मीटिंग करते हैं तो उनको पता होगा कि यार ये हमसे मीटिंग कर रहे हैं, हमारी बात पहुंच गई है, हमारी कंसर्न क्या है, हमारी डिमांड्स क्या है. तो उम्मीद फिर वो कर सकते हैं ना कि अब हो सकता है जब ये आगे पॉलिसी बने या इलेक्शंस हों तो ये हमारे कंसर्न्स का ध्यान रखें. लेकिन अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन मीटिंग ही नहीं करता, किसी से पूछते नहीं हैं, चुपके चुपके सारे डिसीजन हो रहे हैं, चुपके चुपके इलेक्शन हो रहा है, तो हर किसी को मौका मिलेगा उंगली उठाने का. If the law requires public meetings, the EMB should announce the dates. Decisions made in meetings should also be shared with the public. Closed meetings can allow open discussion on sensitive issues. हाँ, कुछ सेंसिटिव इशू होते हैं, उनको फिर ओपनली डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते, उसके लिए क्लोज मीटिंग्स करना पड़ती हैं. मेंबर्स कैन स्पीक फ्रीली विदाउट फियरिंग पब्लिक बैकलैश. अब जो सेंसिटिव मैटर्स हैं उनको डिस्कस करने के लिए फिर आपको मीडिया को बाहर रखना पड़ता है, दरवाजे बंद रखने पड़ते हैं, ताकि जो मेंबर्स हैं वो उनकी शामत ना आ जाए, आवाम के पीछे ना पड़ जाए. इस सेंसिटिव मैटर्स ऐसे होते हैं जिनको आवाम नहीं समझ, या आवाम को तो पता चल जाए तो वो फिर वो खैर नहीं करते. But closed meetings may make people suspicious. It is good to follow closed meetings with a public announcement or press conference. तो वो कहते हैं कि अगर ऐसे उन्होंने की हुई है कोई मीटिंग, क्लोज मीटिंग की है, तो उसके बाद प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जरूर करें, कुछ ना कुछ आवाम को बताएं, भाई आज हमने ये बात की है, ये फैसला किया है. सारी बात ना भी बताएं, कुछ ना कुछ बताएं जरूर. अगर कुछ नहीं बता रहे तो आवाम शक करेंगे कि आज मीटिंग थी, बोले भी नहीं, पता नहीं क्या हुआ मीटिंग में. Publishing minutes and summaries keeps the public informed. Transparent processes show the EMB is accountable and supports the transition from authoritarian rule. Building a core team of professional election staff is very important. Elections are unusual because EMBs must hire many temporary workers and then reduce staff after the election. Okay. Other public organizations, they have permanent staff. They have regular functions. For example, WAPDA. Okay.
Yes.
It has its regular functions and it has its regular staff, full-time staff. It works the whole year. But the election commission, it cannot have full permanent staff to conduct the elections. So at the time of the polls, it hires hundreds of thousands of people from various departments, from education, from health, from bureaucracy, from judiciary, okay, who help and who manage the polls. So it is unusual. Elections are unusual because electoral management bodies must hire many temporary workers and then reduce staff after the election. Starting from the core staff, EMBs recruit and train tens or even hundreds of thousands of workers for elections. Clear procedures and training materials are essential for success. Temporary workers are the main contact between the EMB and voters. Election laws, when polls are held, the election commissioners do not conduct the polls themselves. They just keep on visiting different booths, different polling stations. So teachers, doctors, and others, they are in touch with the voter, with the people.
Yes.
So election laws should make all election officials fully accountable to the EMB. Codes of conduct help ensure staff are fair and professional. The goal is to make the public trust that elections are managed well. Running an EMB well needs good systems for finance, good systems for staff and assets. These systems must be professional and able to improve over time. Keeping skilled staff should be a key part of electoral management body human resource policies. So they need skilled staff. International experience shows the value of trained professional election administrators. The Bridge curriculum, Bridge, it is some organization, Bridge. The Bridge curriculum helps train election staff and has been used in many countries. The ACE Electoral Knowledge, ACE again, it is some organization. The ACE Electoral Knowledge Network also provides lots of useful information on election management. Okay, Ji, I think the last point, trust and confidence. Trust and confidence. Building public trust in an electoral management body is very important. This is especially true during political transitions or if the EMB was previously controlled. Changing the EMB's image is critical in such cases. Negotiations among political leaders can help improve the EMB's reputation. These talks can give the opposition some confidence and sense of ownership. Even after elite negotiations, voters need to believe in the electoral management body's independence. In the end, it is the vote of the people that matter, not just party leaders. So, Voters are more important. They are equally important, if not more. Voter confidence depends on two connected factors. So the voter must have some confidence in the election commission, in the electoral management body. So it depends on two connected factors. Number one, how well political parties reach the electorate. Number two, actions by the transitioning electoral management body, like civic education and working with civil society to show independence. When parties and civil society are strong, they help spread confidence in the EMB. When parties and associations are weak or voters are less organized, the electoral management body's own actions to show independence become even more important. A transitioning EMB needs strong outreach to show independence. So strong outreach, it has to connect to the people in every each and every all corners of the country. Strong outreach. Ghana's Electoral Commission provides a clear example. It created the Inter-Party Advisory Committee to consult with political parties. This engagement sent a clear signal to all voters that the EMB was different from before. Transparent interaction with political actors builds confidence. A politically independent EMB should not ignore parties but stay free from their partisan interests. The, the election commissions, the electoral management bodies, they need to be in touch, they need to be in contact with the political parties, but they should not favor or disfavor any party. They should be neutral. The Ghana Election Commission addressed opposition concerns about past elections. This showed it was tackling issues openly and consultatively. During elections, the public has two main ways to engage directly with the electoral management body. First is voter registration, second is actual polling. EMBs in the three case studies showed the importance of fixing problems in the electoral register. Electoral registers are often used for manipulation in authoritarian regimes. Voter lists,
Yes.
voter lists. And actually, these are the electoral registers where voters are registered. Clear efforts to fix the register help ensure credible elections. These efforts also give voters a chance to engage directly with the EMB. Voters can see the EMB's transparency, professionalism, competence, and independence. Even limited updates to the register during transitions can help build trust and confidence. A communication strategy helps keep voters' confidence. The strategy should include both traditional media and social media. EMBs should pay attention to social media and they should learn to use it well. Social media has recently helped organize protests against authoritarian regimes in countries like Egypt and Tunisia, the Arab uprisings. Okay, ji, lastly, other institutions. Strengthening electoral institutions often goes hand in hand with improving other democratic institutions. Better elections need a virtuous circle among state institutions, civil society, the rule of law, and political parties. The EMB's democratic progress can be supported or weakened by how other institutions behave. So, the role of other institutions in the system, it also has to do something with the proper functioning and proper delivery of the election commissions. An EMB is part of horizontal accountability. It can be encouraged by seeing independence in other institutions like constitutional courts, ombudsmen, and central banks. For example, in Chile, the Constitutional Tribunal made key decisions for the 1988 referendum. These decisions helped restore the authority of the previously interactive electoral code. Security forces play an important role in authoritarian regimes. Their position in a transition is critical for both elites and the public. In all their in all three case studies, some parts of the security forces quietly supported the transitions. In all three case studies, in this reading, which is conducted by IDEA, there are three case studies. Okay, so in all, the author is talking about those three case studies. Some parts of the security forces quietly supported the transitions. They stepped back from political involvement. In Indonesia, senior military leaders were allowed to run in future elections. To protect their own chances, the armed forces had a reason to support their elections, support fair elections. Fair elections were carried out by an impartial and independent EMB. The media and civil society are very important institutions. A free and independent media helps the EMB communicate with voters and political actors. Social media is also a powerful way to share information. The EMB can use these channels for civic and voter education campaigns. It should also be ready to respond to crises or challenges to its independence at any time. Talking with social society organizations is another way to reach voters. CSOs. Anybody knows the difference between CSOs and NGOs?
NGOs, so non-governmental organizations होती हैं.
दोनों सोसाइटी के लिए काम कर रही हैं.
Yes, yes. Civil society organizations, it is a broader term. So it also includes the associations and unions. For example, trade unions, labor unions, or there are student associations, maybe teacher associations. They also include in CSOs. So CSOs include NGOs as well as other associations and unions. So, talking with civil society organizations, CSOs is another way to reach voters. Some electoral management bodies meet regularly with CSOs to build confidence and show transparency. CSOs can help EMBs with voter education campaigns. Many CSOs also send domestic observers to watch elections. They provide feedback on the quality and credibility of the electoral process. Okay, Ji. With this, our discussion on the electoral management bodies during transition, electoral management during transition comes to an end. You can ask any question or make comments if you have. Yet we have time.